So Abraham had all of these things, and I hope this thing doesn't time out here. I think I erased those. So Abraham gave this man a tenth of everything he had. Everything he had. Now, I want to finish reading this because I want you all to understand something here. Okay? So it says here, to whom also Abraham gave a tenth part of everything, all the spoils he wore, all of spoils. This is a mighty, mighty Abraham. Many of you think of Abraham, just think of him as a little old man. Abraham was a mighty, mighty man. And he gave a tenth part of everything he had to Melchizedek. Okay? Now, verse 3, it says, who is Melchizedek? This man was without a father, without a mother. Okay, so he didn't have a father and his mother. His dad and his mom died. Damn, dog, his parents died. That's the reason why Paul wants to clear this up. So he was without a father, he was without a mother, but he was also without genealogy. Okay, just when you thought you could say his mom and his father died, then Paul wants to clear up that notion that he never had a mother and a father at all. In fact, he wasn't born at all from people. This man Melchizedek didn't even have a genealogy. He didn't have genealogy, which means he couldn't be traced back from any mortal man. This man was without mother, without father, without genealogy. Y'all understand what I'm saying to y'all? Without genealogy. Without genealogy. Having neither. Now, okay, so man, he didn't have genealogy, but that might not necessarily mean that. Then Paul wants to make it even clearer for you all. Even clearer. So without genealogy, that really should wrap it up, right? But that's not enough for you niggas, right? That's not enough for you white folk. That's not enough for you Arabs. That's not enough for you Chinese people, right? You all better learn how to respect Revelations 1:15. Respect Revelations 1:14 and 15 because it means more than meets the eye. So he had no mother, no father, and he didn't have genealogy. He also did not have a beginning of days nor end of life. So this man that met Abraham knew who he was. Abraham saw this man and said, oh shit, give him 10% of all this shit. Don't argue with me, just do it. Told his soldiers that was with him, that man right there, pay that man, pay him right now. Give him 10% of everything. All the gold, all the silver, everything. Everything you got, give it to him. 10%. Give it to him or we all die. He didn't have mother, nor father, nor genealogy, nor beginning of days, nor end of life. This is who Melchizedek was. Okay? And it's going to say here, but made like the Son of God, remains a priest continually. So Christ, as I read earlier, was made a priest after the order of this man Melchizedek. And Melchizedek has just been declared by Paul. Why? Because Paul knows what he's talking about. He had just been declared by Paul a priest continually. Continually means forever. Means never-ending story. Means Melchizedek will always be the priest. The priest that is greater than the Levitical priesthood. Many of you who are in the circumcision, you still kiss Moses' ass. Moses is your hope. Well, when everything, that's the reason why many of you don't believe the prophecies. That's why many of you are cowards and many of you want to be rescued because you think you're following all the commandments. When you don't even respect Christ and you not even joining his lineup and being a good soldier, and you think that you're going to get, what do you think? Because many of you don't believe in the rapture. You don't believe in being caught up, which I don't blame you. There is a catching away, but it's completely misunderstood. Christianity has taken, that's the reason why people think that the rapture is foolishness. Because Christianity has taken it and has flipped it and bounced it and made it seem simple, so foolish. First of all, there is no pre-tribulation catching away. There's no pre-tribulation catching away. Everybody's going to have to go through something. That's number one. Now, there is a catching away. Okay? I'm not going to get into that one right now neither, because that's another complicated concept. But there is a catching away. It does exist, and it will happen. Okay? But we need to understand something here. Right? We need to understand something here. Okay? So, Melchizedek is a forever priest. Paul just said it right here. Now, continually means perpetually. Perpetually means infinite. It's not going to stop, ever. So, Melchizedek is a priest forever, for eternity. Now, Yahushua HaMashiach, the Christ, has been made a priest after the order of Melchizedek. Now, I just want all of you who teach to just use your common sense for 1 effing minute. Use your common sense. Melchizedek, because there aren't 2 priests. Let me repeat that. There aren't 2 priests. Because we're talking about high priests. There's only one high priest that takes an office at a time. Only one high priest can take office once at a time. Only one high priest can take office once at a time. I'm going to say that one more time. There can only be one high priest at a time. There's no such thing as 2 high priests at one time. It's impossible. According to the law of God, it doesn't exist. So if Melchizedek is forever a priest, then there's no need for another priest. Christ, we don't need Christ as a priest, because this man, Melchizedek, is either greater than Christ or equal to Christ. Well, Christ got a genealogy though, dog. That's true. Christ does have a genealogy. Christ was born of a woman. But I want y'all to listen very carefully. Okay? First of all, let me just give the spoiler alert. Yahushua HaMashiach and Melchizedek are the same person. They're the same person. Christ is Melchizedek. That's the reason why he is the high priest after the order of Melchizedek. There's no need for another high priest after Melchizedek, because Melchizedek is a priest forever. So we don't really need Christ as a priest. It didn't say that the priesthood was forever. We already know that the Melchizedek priesthood is forever, but Melchizedek is a priest continually. 2 high priests can't take the same office at the same time. 2 high priests, there can't be 2 high priests at the same time. Christ is now the Melchizedek. He's now the king, the prophet, and the priest. It's him. It's Christ. Why did we need God to be our priest, black people? Because an ordinary man has the same weaknesses as the rest of us. And he can only offer a temporary atonement, which is a billy goat, a lamb, a calf, or whatever. Because in the Old Testament, in order to atone, sins must be atoned for by blood. Are you niggas listening? Every sin that all of you Negroes have ever committed It needs to be atoned for by blood. And many of you have never slaughtered a billy goat and have never slaughtered a cow and have never slaughtered a lamb to atone for each and every one of you the wickednesses that you have committed in your life. But every time that you sin, every time you get caught sinning, your sin is to be atoned for by the death of an animal. Do you see the problem with the Old Testament? How in the hell, there's no way in the world that we could survive under those conditions. So what God did, being as thoroughbred as he is he decided to come down in the flesh, being a priest continuously. This is why he has to come as a man, because he had to give up one one-time atonement. An atonement that was greater than any billy goat, any lamb, any calf, any bull, right? We just don't have that many animals. Today, as wicked as you niggas is, we wouldn't have no animals on this planet. But Christ came down here being a stand-up dude, and he said, guess what? I'm going to give a one-time myself, a stand-up atonement once and for all. There's no more need to sacrifice anything else. You don't have no more need to sacrifice lambs, no more need to sacrifice, but I'm going to give because according to my own law, sins must be atoned for by blood. So I won't have to send all you niggas to hell. I'm going to come down here and make the one atonement, the very one atonement right now. We're going to cut to the chase. And that's what he did. The law has been transferred from the carnal law on the tablets, the law of death on the tablets, over to the law of life in heaven, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, who is from heaven. Now, it's going to say here, now consider how great this man, he's going to iterate. Now consider how great this man was, to whom even the patriarch Abraham, see, that's what I'm saying. Paul's trying to say, Abraham was a great man. Abraham was not somebody you want to walk up on, not somebody you want to run up on. Telling you, right? He was a mighty patriarch. He was a mighty warrior. So those were his earlier days, right? So Paul is going to tell you right here that now consider how great this man was, to whom even the patriarch Abraham gave a tenth of all his spoils. They were spoils. They were spoils of war. It was gold. It was probably little coins of gold, little coins of silver. It was, no telling what it was, right? We know it wasn't women, probably wasn't women, even though I'm sure they had women too. He probably gave them some women too, but Melchizedek didn't have any need for women, right? Because he was who he was. So Melchizedek was God in the flesh, basically. Okay, so even though it doesn't say he was a prophet, and maybe, but we know he was a prophet because he was God, because God is a prophet. Because God is the one that speaks through his servants, that's what makes him a prophet. I can't prophesy without without the prophecy of his word. Jeremiah and all of those Negroes back in the day could not prophesy without the word of Christ, without the word coming into them, without Christ coming to them, prophesying through them. And the apostles could not be messengers without being made messengers from Yahushua HaMashiach and being taught by Yahushua HaMashiach, being taught by God. So Melchizedek was a prophet because of who he was, Elohim. But we know but he's also a king and he's also a priest. Okay, so now, see, I just want to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me. And I want to use a little bit of common sense while I'm doing it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm so prestigious and act like I'm so high and mighty in knowledge. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to humble my little self, and I'm going to let you all know that I'm simply reading the scriptures how they're supposed to be read, and this knowledge is coming from Yahushua the Christ, and it's not my knowledge. Just now, I want to get to something, right? But give me a minute here. Now, so he said, okay, so now let's go and confirm who Melchizedek is. Okay? Okay? Let's go to Genesis chapter 14. Let's go to Genesis. Then we're going to go to the Old Testament. Let's go to Genesis chapter 14. Okay? Let's go to Genesis and let's go to chapter 14. And we're going to start okay. Let's start at 16. So, see, Abraham found himself rescuing punk ass Lot, right? So it says here, so I thought that's who he went to go rescue, Lot. So it says, so this is Genesis chapter 14, verse 16, right? And it says, so he brought back all the goods, and also bought back his brother Lot. Lot was his brother. Oh, I thought Lot was his cousin. Lot was his brother. I thought it said Lot was his cousin. All right, so he brought back his brother Lot and his goods, as well as the women and the people. See, the spoils of war. Women are spoils of war. So it's funny because he brought back the women and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Shavah. Okay? And it said here, after his return from the defeat of, I can't pronunciate that, but it was a king. So Abraham returned from defeating this king and the kings who were with him. And then it says, then, verse 18, then Melchizedek, this is Genesis, the Old Testament, then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of God Most High. So, was Melchizedek the father? Well, yeah, he was. But he was also Christ. See, what God does when he comes down here, which he's done many cases, the creator of heavens and earth on many occasions has come down here either in a theophany or as Malach Yahuwah, meaning the angel of the Lord. Many of you would know him as the angel of the Lord in the Bible, but it should be Malach Yahuwah because he's not the angel of something. He is, well, you could say he's the angel. He could say he's the messenger of Elohim, but it's Yah, right? But in this case, he was a whole theophany, meaning he was an absolute manifestation of God in the flesh. That's who Melchizedek was, right? The same thing as Christ, right? Why? Because they were the same people. So if now, even though this was God, it's apparently that he didn't call himself God, but Abraham knew who he was. Right? Abraham knew who he was. That's right. Just like before he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, he became a theophany and manifested himself to Abraham in the flesh. And Abraham and Sarah cooked him and the two angels, cooked him and Raphael and Gabriel some porridge, right? Then they were not porridge, made him some fish or whatever or whatnot, right? They ate the fish, they shitted and they pissed, and they went back to heaven. That's what they did. They left Christ, left his natural estate, and turns himself into a man. He's been doing this. This is the Old Testament. This is Genesis. Paul revealed who Melchizedek was. Now, the Old Testament is going to confirm what Paul said. Paul just revealed, because Christ is revealing. That's why it says Revelations, because it's revealing that Christ is God. That's why the scroll of Revelations is called Revelations. That's why it's called visions, because on the island of Patmos, John the Baptist was given that vision from Christ and was revealed, and Christ revealed himself, which is a revelation of who Christ really is, the creator of heaven and earth. So you have to understand here what Paul did in the New Testament. The New Testament reveals the Old Testament. And the Old Testament now is going to confirm what the F-U that Paul said. Right? He's going to reveal it right here. The Old Testament reveals that Paul knew what he was talking about. But all Paul did was regurgitate the Old Testament, right? That's why you got to read. That's why if you're a teacher, you have to read them both. So you can't say that Melchizedek was the father, quote unquote, because even here in the Old Testament, which is confirming what Paul said, right? It's going to say, he was the father, just like Christ was the father, right? But did he lie when he said he was the son of Elohim? It didn't say he was the son of Yahuwah. It said he was the son of Elohim. Now, many of you that in religion, and many of you who are novice, you don't understand what I just said. But those of you in the circumcision, you understand what I'm saying. Now, even though Elohim and Yahuwah is interchangeable, they're not exactly interchangeable, because Yahuwah is his Shem. Yahuwah is his proper is a proper noun, meaning it's his name. It's who he is. Elohim is really, it's a little deeper than that, right? Because Elohim means plural, but it's not more than one personality, but it's mean he has a triune nature, meaning Father, Son, and the Ruach Spirit, but it's all one embodiment and it's all one personality. It's not three separate people. It's not even two separate people.